Have you ever stopped to think about how a group of people, an ancient tribe, actually becomes a nation? I mean, we're not just talking about shared beliefs, but the actual physical ground under their feet. Well, today, we're diving into an incredible ancient document that was literally the blueprint for the tribe of Judah, laying out the very map of their future.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? How do you go from wandering in the desert to having a homeland? The answer, it turns out, isn't just about winning battles. It's about drawing lines on a map. And this incredibly detailed geographical list we're about to explore, that's their answer to this massive challenge.
So first things first, if you're going to build a nation, you have to know where it starts and where it stops. This text kicks off by meticulously, and I mean meticulously, defining Judah's borders, creating a real, tangible space for a people to finally call home.
Okay, let's trace this map together. We start in the south. The line begins at the very bottom tip of the Dead Sea and then stretches out across this vast, dry frontier. It winds past a place called, get this, Scorpion Pass, heads down to the Desert of Zin, and then goes all the way to the Wadi of Egypt. Now, this wasn't just a random line. This was them planting a flag, marking their territory against the huge southern wilderness.
Now, the eastern border, totally different story. It was incredibly simple. It was just the Dead Sea. You've got this massive, salty body of water providing a perfect, unmistakable natural boundary. No arguments, no gray areas. The border is right where the land meets the water. Easy.
But the northern border, well, this is where things get complicated. This was no straight line. It snaked through valleys, like the Valley of Ben Hinnom, and right past a major obstacle, the city of the Jebusites, which, you guessed it, would later become Jerusalem. So this winding line on the map is actually a hint of future trouble, a sign that they had to work around existing powers they didn't control. Yet. And finally, to the west, another beautiful, simple, and powerful natural border, the Great Mediterranean Sea. But think about it. This wasn't just a boundary line. It was a doorway to the wider world, giving them access to trade, travel, and a whole flood of new ideas.
So let's put it all together. You've got a territory boxed in by a harsh desert, two different seas, and one very tricky political frontier. This isn't just a random slice of land. It's a carefully designed space with its own unique challenges and incredible opportunities baked right into its geography. But a map is just lines on a page, right? How do you make that territory real? Well, the story now does something amazing. It zooms all the way in, from this huge, sweeping map to one individual hero, a guy named Caleb, who shows us exactly how this land was claimed, one fierce battle at a time.
Caleb's personal mission takes him to Hebron, a major city up in the hill country. And his opponents? They were the stuff of legend. The three sons of Anak, Anakites, who were basically known for being fearsome giants. And Caleb? He takes them on and wins, carving out his own piece of the inheritance with pure guts.
Then, to take the next town, Kiriath Sefer, Caleb shows he's not just a warrior, he's a brilliant leader. He doesn't just give an order, he inspires. He puts up this incredible prize, the hand of his own daughter, Aksa. All of a sudden, this isn't just a military objective, it's a deeply personal quest for glory and for family.
So a warrior named Othniel steps up, wins the battle, and wins the bride. But the story is far from over. In this really fascinating twist, the camera pivots away from the men with swords and focuses on Caleb's daughter, Aksa. And let me tell you, she proves to be every bit as bold and strategic as her father.
See, after the wedding, Aksa realizes that her husband's battlefield victory isn't enough to build a life on. She actually urges Othniel to ask her dad for a field, but then, you know what, she decides to take matters into her own hands. She goes straight to her father herself because she knows exactly what she needs to secure her own future.
And here it is. This is her big move. She approaches her father and says, "Since you have given me land in the Negev, which is the dry south, give me also springs of water." This is absolutely brilliant. She understood the most crucial thing. Land in the middle of a desert is completely worthless if you don't have water.
And you can just imagine her father, Caleb, being so impressed by her foresight. He doesn't just give her what she asked for. He gives her more. Not just one spring, but the upper and the lower springs. Through her own boldness and intelligence, Aksa secures not just a piece of land, but a truly viable, prosperous future for her new family. What a story.
Aksa's story is really the entire challenge of settling Judah in miniature. Her need for both land and water was the exact same need that thousands of other families had all across this new territory. So now let's zoom back out and look at the sheer scale of this massive settlement project. The numbers here are just staggering. In the southernmost part of Judah alone, the dry Negev where Oxa got her land, the text lists 29 towns, plus all their surrounding villages. Just think about that. This wasn't some tiny, sparse outpost. This was a huge wave of colonization.
And these aren't just names on a map. You've got places like Beersheba, which became a major hub. And then check this out. Towns like Ayin and Rimmon, whose names literally mean spring and pomegranate. Those names tell you everything, pointing right to the vital water sources that made life even possible down there in the dry south.
And if you look at how the population was distributed, you can see a really clear strategy at play. The biggest concentration of people, with over 45 towns, was in the fertile western foothills. The hill country was also packed. But what's really amazing is that even in the harsh, barren wilderness, they established 6 towns. It shows they were serious about populating their entire territory. And each of these regions had its own anchor cities. Down in the foothills, you had major fortified cities like Lachish. Up in the hills, ancient and important centers like Hebron and Debir. And way out in the wilderness, you had the famous oasis of En-Gedi, right by the Dead Sea. It just shows you the incredible variety of the landscape they were settling.
So the document lays out this almost perfect plan, right? You've got clear borders, heroic stories of conquests, a comprehensive list of towns. It really seems like a complete and total success story. But then, the text ends with one final, very important detail that shows the plan didn't quite work out so perfectly after all. And there it is, the stark final sentence. For all their success, the tribe of Judah could not capture the Jebusite stronghold, the city of Jerusalem, the very one their northern border had to carefully sneak around earlier. The Jebusites stayed put, living right there alongside them.
And that really leaves us with this final thought, doesn't it? This ancient document is so much more than a map or a list of towns. It's a story about the gap that always exists between the perfect blueprint and the messy final product. It's this timeless reminder that even the best laid plans have to deal with the stubborn, complicated realities on the ground.